This is Coach Alejandro, and this is my morning mobility routine. Every morning when I get up, I go straight to the mat and I start my movement practice. So join along and let's get moving. So, from a seated position, I want you to put your hands behind your back. Now we're going to put our legs in a V-sit position. We're going to sit up and we're going to try to find areas of tightness. I want you to be gentle and I want you to move fluidly in and out of the stretch. This is considered active stretching versus passive stretching. We're simply going into the stretch, holding it for less than a few seconds or a second, and then moving on to the other side. Take deep breaths, and let's move on. Next, we're going to go back into a seated position, and we're going to practice our twisting. This is great for your thoracic spine and just getting things moving. Again, all of this is going to be an active flexibility routine. With some strength and some stability. Okay, we're going to get into the tabletop position and we're going to warm up our wrists by placing weight on our wrists and moving in a circular pattern. Five times in one direction and 5 times in the other direction. It's really important that we warm up our wrists because we're going to be placing weight on them fairly soon. Okay, once that's done, let's go into cat-cow. Cat-cow is really good for flexion and extension of the thoracic spine. Just be gentle, especially if you've just woken up. We're just moving the vertebrae and increasing blood flow. Take deep breaths. Okay, now we're going to do controlled shoulder rotations. You're simply bringing your scapula up and back and down and protract in a circular pattern. Good. Now from this position, slightly wider stance. You can rest your feet straight, flat, or keep your toes curled up. We're going to push back into the child's pose and out. Deep breaths. This is going to open up our hips. Just a few. Okay, back to the tabletop. One hand behind the neck. Touch your elbow to your hand and rotate. Breathe in and breathe out on the rotation. Just a few of those. And other side. So the key here is that we're not passively stretching, we're actively stretching. Okay, back to the seated position, or a comfortable seated position. We're going to take the 90-90. So we're putting our legs into a 90 degree angle. Okay, so from one side, I have also known as a modified pigeon. I'm going to take my hands, support my body weight, keep my back straight, and slowly hinge and come up. So we're going to do this like a pulse. This is going to elongate and stretch the glutes actively, not passively. Deep breaths. In this way, we're contracting and relaxing, getting the hips to start moving and increasing blood flow. And switching over to the other side. Okay, great. And next we're going to go into the Taylor's stretch, otherwise known as the butterfly stretch. The key here is to keep your back straight. If you have trouble keeping your back straight and you tend to arch your back, you might want to sit on a pillow or a yoga block. If you're here, no matter where you are, just kind of allow your hips to fall down to the degree that they can. This is going to stretch out your inner thigh and your groin. You can place a little bit of pressure, but not much. We're not trying to necessarily increase our range of motion. We're just trying to warm things up and get things moving. This type of active stretching routine you can do before a workout at the gym, before a good run, or before a weightlifting session. It's not advised to do really extreme passive stretching before a run or a workout at the gym, as that may deter your performance. Deep breaths. You can also rest your hands behind you and allow gravity to do the work. Good. Now into the crab position. And we've already warmed up our wrists, so you should be okay with planting weight on your wrists. Slowly bring your shoulders back, retract them and down to support your body weight. And you're going to extend from the hips into a reverse tabletop. You can relax your neck and come back down. So we're doing this in a dynamic method. Isometric would be if you just stood here and contracted the muscles. They would neither be lengthening nor shortening. And dynamic is moving in and out, contracting and relaxing. This is great for hip extension, and it's also going to train your triceps. So here is where we can already start seeing a strength component in our mobility work. Deep breaths. Make sure not to fall down and allow your shoulders to shrug. That could cause some shoulder impingement. What I'm looking for is a proud chest, shoulders back and down. Deep breaths. Okay. Keep your legs straight. We're going to do a toe touch or a forward fold. The key here is to keep your back straight and try to fold from the hips, just like a hip hinge. What I'm not looking for is to overly flex your low back in order to touch your toes. That's going to be more of a back stretch, which is not necessarily bad. But here we're looking for more of a hamstring stretch. Again, we're going to do this actively. Deep breaths in and out. You also want to flex your toes, and that's going to give you a different feel. Okay, one foot over the other. You're going to use the knee and the elbow as leverage and look over your shoulder for 1 second and then switch. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. One more. Okay, we're going to flip around back to the tabletop position. We're going to engage our feet and we're going to elevate our knees and distribute our weight evenly between our hands and our feet. So this is basically a plank position. Now I want you to protract from your shoulders in order to really engage your pecs. This is also going to train your core, and it's going to train your pushing strength and stability. Take deep breaths. So this is the stability component of mobility. And now we're going to go into downward facing dog and back to tabletop. You can rest your knees on the ground and then come back up again. So this is going to actively stretch out our hamstrings, and it's going to help us work on knee extension. From this position, we go into knee extension and then lengthening of the hamstrings. Okay, from a seated position, we're going to go into a hip flexor stretch. You want to keep your pelvis straight and aligned without giving yourself a lower lumbar curve. So you want to keep your pelvis tucked and you want to move your pelvis forward. This is going to allow you to stretch out your hip flexor. Then for an added bonus, we're going to lift up the arm and we're going to get a stretch on the entire front side. We'll hold that for one breath and then release. We can combine this with a hamstring stretch and then go back. Just a few of those. And switch. Take a deep breath in, keep the pelvis square, and shift your weight forward. Take a deep breath in, and breathe out. Shift back, sit on your heel, stretch out your hamstring, and again, shift your pelvis forward. Breath in, and breathe out. Okay, great. Now we're going to finish up with some upper body activation. So I want to take my arm and laterally stretch my body and switch. This is going to actively stretch out the lats and the entire side of your body. Taking deep breaths. Do that a few times. Great. Now take your arms straight and perform reverse arm circles. This is just to warm up the rotator cuff and work your rear delts. Deep breaths. And next we'll do a tricep stretch, holding each side for just a couple milliseconds. And finally, a pec stretch, grabbing your wrist, pulling your arms back, and bringing your chest forward. Deep breaths, and switch the wrist. All right, take a seat comfortably and relax. I hope you found some value and have a great day.